another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet? Is
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences. The following...
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Team Shit Show 2.0. And tonight, I'm having Brandi from the Shepherd's Watch again to update us on a bunch of new things that are going on with their foundation. Welcome, Brandi. How are you?
I am good and excited to be here. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm happy to have you back. It's been a little while, but a lot of things have been changing, haven't they?
A lot
Good
has
thing.
happened since I was here. Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
We'll get into that tonight.
Well, great. I have brought up the Shepherd's Watch website. Is there any specific thing that you'd like me to bring up for you to talk about, or would you just like to start telling us about the foundation a little bit and what you're wanting to accomplish this evening?
Well, I think it's important. Show them the homepage. We have an
Okay.
amazing web designer who is a volunteer, and she created this, and she has done a magnificent job.
This whole
Our,
thing right here?
go to the home. Go to Shepherd's Watch at the very top left and click it, and
All
it'll
right.
take you to the
Here
homepage. There
we
we
go.
go.
Awesomeness. Yeah, it's
Check that
beautiful.
out.
Mm-hmm.
So, our
Gorgeous.
team literally affects people just like that diagram showed. The sex trafficking rings that we do focus on start in Texas, but they spread out all over the U.S. So that really represents our effect with what we
Mm-hmm.
do. It truly does. But yeah, this is definitely somewhere I want to point out real quick that people definitely need to come check out. We've got some awesome articles down there that were written about us.
Mm-hmm.
Also, our investigative intelligence director, who's also our founder. Her interviews are there as well, and the pink and the purples. Those are her
Mm-hmm.
interviews with no face. Yep.
Yep.
The one at the top left, right there, is that's Maddie Rowley with the Free Press. She actually came and did a 2-day ride along with our investigative intelligence director, and Fox interviewed her about her article. So that was pretty awesome. That was the first time ever Shepherd's Watch had hit the mainstream.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm copying the website link, and I will share it in the chat with everyone because this is a lot of information. So when you do go to it, try to give yourself a little time to just sit and relax and just go through it little by little. Click on what you're interested in and bookmark it. onto your browser so that any chance that you have, you can go and read more, share it in emails with your friends and family, and just get the word out as much as we can. The more we change everything, for the better our whole world is going to end up being for every person that's saved. It
Absolutely.
is
And I'll tell y'all a little bit about us, but look at stop right, go down a little bit, go down
here.
again. Yeah, there's some numbers, those numbers
Oh, right here.
right there. Yes.
Hmm.
So those numbers, this is something we're going to keep updating. About every 3 to 6 months, we'll update this. These are your numbers actually of what we're looking at when it comes to online sex ads every week, just in
Wow,
Texas alone. So you've
this
got
is.
yes, and so this is a lot of our cases at the moment. I will tell you a lot stem from online sex ads, but you've got almost 14,000 in Dallas every single week, almost 12,200 in Houston, 3,300 in Austin, 25 in San Antonio. And we're going to talk more about that tonight. That really plays a big part when it comes to the sex trafficking that's going on now in
Hmm.
every state. Honestly, Janet, I know. Let me go ahead and say a little bit about Shepherd's Watch, and then I'm going to dive in because I
Okay,
could
go
talk
for it.
about this for so long. But so for those who don't know who Shepherd's Watch is, we are a nonprofit out of Texas. We were founded in 2020, and it was the idea of a group of investigators who had been seeing the online exploitation of children. So they weren't necessarily looking at sex trafficking at that time, but they were looking at all of the exploitation that was going on using devices. And so that's where the thought of Shepherd's Watch came from. And when our founder created us in 2020, it stayed very silent for 2 years. And it's because of the way we have to work. So Shepherd's Watch, again, I said as a nonprofit, but what makes us stand out from everyone else is that we have an in-house private investigation team. So we do educate, but we are not just another awareness group. We have a lot of awareness groups out there, and we're not knocking what they do. They do amazing work. However,
Hmm.
there's just not enough people that are boots on the ground on the investigation side. So, what we do is we focus on assisting all levels of law enforcement in the sex
Hmm.
trafficking cases around Texas. And we definitely make an impact. I can tell you that since September, we have been able to help identify over 300 victims. We have also There have been 12 networks that we have impacted and been able to identify the traffickers and get that turned over since September. So I'm sorry, that one's since November. Since November, 12 different networks. And
Hmm.
every network in general, every network that we find has anywhere from 15 to 20 uh, individuals in it. I'm not going to say just women because they're not. A lot of times you will hear people give the numbers for women. It's men too, it's boys too. So this I can also tell you that the largest one we've ever had anything to do with was 58. So we are definitely making an impact. We What also stands apart from about us is that we do not do the one-off cases, for lack of better words. So, you know, if you go and if you take down one John, right, or you help one, let's just say one female get out of being an escort and she decides to change her life, you're still not taking down the network that is the problem. You're only taking out one person, right? So we
Yeah,
target the networks, and we're very effective at it. I will say.
that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, we're very passionate about our work. If we're not going to just let something lay if it comes our way, that's for sure. But we're definitely making a huge impact, and we couldn't do it alone. We have a lot of volunteers, and that's one of the things I want to talk about tonight is our need for volunteers. There's 3 areas that we have a very important need for some different volunteers, but we have all kinds of different volunteers from social media to let's say IT volunteers, we have design volunteers. We use everyone that we can as a volunteer so that we can focus using our donations where they matter most. And that is with our technology toolkit. And so that's what I wanted to share as well is not only are we the only um, nonprofit that is in Texas doing the work as we're doing it, we're also the only one that has the technology that we use, and
Mm-hmm.
that sets us apart very much so. That's one of the reasons that law enforcement does like working with us because we have some very good capabilities. Our main goal is we illuminate, which is shine the light, right, on sex trafficking
Yeah.
networks that are involved in sex trafficking. We do that through software tech toolkits and methodology developed specifically for identifying the traffickers and victims. That's our
Mm-hmm.
number two goal. No, two goals. First of all, the first one is identifying the trafficker. The second one will be identifying the victim. We must be able to identify both. If we can't, we don't have a very solid case. So that is very important. And it's important for survivors because I don't like calling them victims. It's important for them to be able to get out of that. But
Yeah.
we are the first and only nonprofit in Texas to use the technology we have. And we definitely do disrupt and dismantle those rings very effectively.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yep.
Um, didn't Trump just sign an executive order or something to make it like some type of really high penalty for people who, you know,
So I
traffic?
haven't, yes, so I haven't seen that the executive order has been signed yet on that one, but that is definitely something he has vowed to do, is to
Hmm.
give death penalty to sex traffickers. Actually, traffickers in general, because there
Yeah.
could be labor or sex trafficking.
Hmm.
So it all
Yeah.
falls under human trafficking. So yes, he did say he would. And so here's where we'll go ahead and start digging in, Janet, because
Okay.
there's something that we want people to understand as well, though. When you have a federal law like that, if he were to put it in a place that they were going to get the death penalty, right, you would
Hmm.
still have to have a case that would meet federal criteria. So that doesn't mean that every trafficker in the United States who gets a trafficking guilty verdict against them is going to get the death penalty. And I believe a lot of people think that that might be the way it is if they're not really keen on how this works. I wasn't myself. I don't pay a lot of to politics. It's more on what's happening boots on the ground and in our communities that I focus on.
Yeah.
And so I want people to realize, we want people to realize that you still have to be active in your own communities
Hmm.
because if your state does not have the laws that they need to support what law enforcement needs to arrest and convict these traffickers, then most likely as well you're typically not going to get a federal case unless there is something that where people are crossing lines, the state lines are definitely going to be a federal case with
Yeah.
trafficking, but
Hmm.
everything that is found to be within states are not going to get that penalty.
Hmm.
So, that's another area that we're very important on is two areas actually, making people aware, just like I am now. You have to be involved. You have to find out what your local laws are and your state laws against these types of things. But also legislation. So we just put together a legislation task force which was, and actually on our Give Butter link, I know you said you had it, you can actually donate to this initiative. We created a legislation task force at the end of last year. And this is our director that is in that area. She's very knowledgeable in legislation.
Hmm.
We've actually visited over 50 representatives now, closing in on 50 if it's not over 50, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
She's been hot and heavy, meeting reps on both sides, doesn't matter. I'm saying that right now. This is not a political issue. This is a society issue. This is a
Hmm.
humanitarian issue. We have to get this under control. Children nor traffickers care how we vote. We need to protect those children. So, our goal in making this task force was so that we could propose 10 bills, and they were very good bills, very strong bills.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, only two have made it through, and they're still very important. One of them is one of the things that touched us really close this year, and I will go more into that. Um, Let me pull those numbers up real quick. I cannot remember those off the top of my head. But we do
Yeah,
have,
I think I remember seeing something about all of
yep,
that in the
they're on our
news.
profile.
And
Yep.
yeah, and that the Democrats, most of the Democrats didn't vote for it.
Let's see
I
here.
just
Well, I'll tell you
don't
what, Janet.
understand that at all. I
Well,
mean, they have
it's not
children.
just, well, it's not just that. I mean, no, let me repeat what I said. There were 10 proposed bills and only two picked them up. Two were
Mhm.
picked up. Doesn't matter which either side. No one wanted to pick them up. That's a problem.
I know. I don't understand it. Every single person that you meet on the street has a child in their family. It's either their
Yes.
grandchild, their niece, their nephew, uh, or their own kid or their cousin's kid, and they don't want to fight for kids. I just don't understand it. I just
It
don't.
doesn't make
I
sense
can't
to us
comprehend
either.
it. I know.
No, not at all. Well, let me tell you about these two bills because they are very important. So we've got one, which is, and by the way, Schatzline,
Hmm.
Representative Schatzline is the one who authored both of these for us. We absolutely adore him for doing it. We're so grateful to him for this. So
Hmm.
HB, which is House Bill 5401, 5401.
Hmm.
Now, again, we're going to go back to something that all of us probably viewing would think that it was a thing already, but not all states require sex offender registry for sex traffickers.
I
I'll
know.
repeat that. Not all sex traffickers, depending on where they live, have to register as sex offenders. Well, in
Mm-mm.
Texas, that is already a law, and it is not being upheld at all. And so we had to go in and make another bill, which is a mechanism of enforcement
Hmm.
so that we can force them to make this happen. Because if there is a law that is already on the books, there is no reason, I don't see a reason why they shouldn't already be enforced, right? And we didn't either. No one did. But they said, here's what you need to do in order to get it enforced. So we did send, and that is on our profile, Janet. It's the second one down on X. Um, 5401 is going
Hmm.
to require that the registration is enforced. And it is going to make it to where they have to register for life. This will not be I get to register for 10 years or 15 years and I'm free after that. No, you're going to have to register for life. Period. You
Where
cross the
where is
line,
this? Is this on your profile?
it's on
Or
the Shepherd's Watch face X profile.
okay,
It's
I'm
the
gonna click
second one
on it,
down.
and it's the Rangers Veterans Group.
No, it's
Uh,
the Shepherd's Watch Foundation
okay,
profile.
hold on. Let me go back over there again. I thought I had it bookmarked. Just give me 1 second.
No
So I'm
worries. I'll keep talking about it. So
okay, go
we
ahead.
want to make sure because this is one of the reasons we did it as well. We were finding that a lot of people are whenever her name is Krista Shields, she's our legislation task force director. When she was talking to people in Austin, they explained that it wasn't necessarily that it was being not being upheld, but it was one of the first things that they were playing down when they would go for a plea. That's one of the first things they would take out is, okay, you will no longer have to register as a sex offender. We want to change that right there. Yep, we're the just, yes. If you'll click on show more, then it'll open that up. And that's where they're going to find the information about the bills. And there's links right there under each HB. We've got a
Hmm.
link there that they can read. And so we want to make sure that regardless of what happens, if they want to plea, fine, do it on something else. But you're not going to plea down the registering as a sex offender any longer. That will be for life no matter what. You plea down on something else, whether it be the money or the time or the probation, you do it on that. But we want you registered as a sex offender for life.
And I just shared the Shepherd's Watch X profile again in the chat. So if you get a chance, click on it and follow them so you can
Thank you
keep
so very
updated
much for
on
that.
anything new that comes up about these bills and to try to pressure some of these people that are in your districts or in your state to try to vote for this stuff. We need to start fighting for our kids in this country and be the leaders in the world on stopping trafficking. Period.
Well, and I'm glad you
It's
said that.
important.
So
Mhm.
yes, and thank you for sharing that they do need to check back, because in a few days we'll have a call to action. And it does not matter where you live in the United States on this part. We will need people to make phone calls to get these bills on the calendars and get them to committees. But right now, since they just moved in the last day or two over, we're going to give it a couple days, and then we're going to put the phone numbers and the emails out so that everyone can help us support in that, because we do need this to make it to the appropriate get it on the calendars and get to the appropriate committees to be voted on. So there's another one that we authored as well, or that we built as well, and it was authored by Nick, and that's HB 5547. Now,
Mhm.
this one is actually something that we did encounter ourselves. And this is what, now, all of these, let me go back, all of the ones that we proposed do have case studies behind them. We have seen something that has happened within our cases, or law
Mhm.
enforcement has brought it to us and said, here's what happened in this case, and here's why it didn't go the way we needed it, right? So every bill that we brought, first of all, has a case behind it. And so, there's my Mikey. I love Mikey. He's freaking amazing. Okay, I don't want to get disturbed or distracted,
Okay.
disturbed.
All right, go for
Okay.
it.
So, prosecution and punishment for the offense of trafficking of persons, specifically minors and
Mhm.
disabled individuals. We want their crime criminal penalty be increased. And here there's a couple things in this. So, first of all, the case study behind this is that there was a young adult, 17 years old, who was mentally disabled. He was
Mhm.
autistic, and he was groomed out of his home at 17 years old. When he was groomed out of the home, I will say this, we're not going to go too much into devices tonight, because they can always come to our space on Tuesday night and we can talk about that more. But guys, he was groomed using a VR headset. That's a virtual reality headset.
Mhm.
So his parents didn't know what he was seeing because they did not see it. Now, of course, as a parent, you can put that on a screen in your home. You can see what's being viewed. But they did not know this at the time. And he was groomed to leave through his VR headset. He was instructed to leave all devices. It was a very scary situation. And long story short, if someone traffics a disabled individual with our bill, and if it passes, it will not matter if they knew the age, and it will not matter if they knew that they were disabled, mentally disabled. They will be charged as trafficking a minor, because they're not adults. They most likely will never be adult mentally. And you should be charged as you were doing something to a child, because that's what you were messing with. The
Mhm.
mentally disabled it needs to be treated as a major criminal penalty. It should not be just anyone else. It should not.
Mhm.
And so that's why we did that. It's very important, because, especially with disabled individuals, depending on the state, 17 and 18 years old, a lot of them, once you get 18, if they don't have guardianship, no one can help, right?
Mhm.
So it's very important for that. There's so many reasons. I'm sure your viewers can imagine what things could happen with someone disabled, right? And
Yeah, I have
then
a niece that's handicapped and goes to the Special Olympics and stuff. And she's an adult, but she's not an adult.
correct,
So
yes.
yes, I
And
100%
if something happens to
agree
her,
with
you would
that.
absolutely. And that's the whole case. That case study was a very big eye opener for us on that one. And then that third one. So we didn't. I keep saying author. We didn't write this one, but we're promoting it because the designation, it's HB 1777.
Mm-hmm.
And this was actually authored by Representative Eddie Morales of Texas.
Oh, here.
And his is about sex offender designation on the state driver's license or ID. That's going to be a big one. Now, I'm hoping it does pass, right? a lot of people, unfortunately, we're hearing a lot of constitutional right pushback on that one, Janet. Yeah, yeah. Even though you have now been found guilty, this isn't about we think you did something. This is you have been found guilty, right?
Hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
these bills are about. They have been proven to be guilty. They have been found guilty by a judge or by a jury. They're the sentencing is now coming. And you should not have a choice, in my opinion. If you're going to do something to a child, and Shepherd's Watch, if you're going to do something to a child that is a sexual crime and you get found guilty for it and you have to register as a sex offender, why would you not want that on the registration? Let me give you an example. So let's just say, and I'm just going to be hypothetical on this again.
Hmm.
I'm even going to say a woman so that we don't get it in the head that these are only men. Because I'm going to tell everyone right now, our number one recruiter in Texas is a woman. Hard stop, it's a woman. You don't hear that a lot, but we will be the first people to tell you that. So
Hmm.
let's just use where 1777 could come into play. So you said let's just say that a woman who has been found, well, guilty of sex trafficking, right?
Hmm.
Brings in a young boy who looks very disturbed, who looks very distanced from her, isn't talking to her. They go into a store and she wants to buy beer and they require her driver's license. And they see this little boy who is a minor who looks very uncomfortable, doesn't look like something's definitely not right.
Yeah.
They should be able to see that if they can see that that's a sex offender, they have the right to refuse service.
Hmm.
And guess what? They can make a phone call as well.
Well, one of the things I was thinking about when I heard you talking about this in the space was the fact that what if they just had a tail light out and they get pulled over by the police? Okay, and it's a woman and she has a child in the back seat, but it says that she's a registered sex offender.
Yep.
He can ask her, whose child that is, that
Pull
kind
the
of stuff.
child out of the car, anything. Yes. So
Yeah.
much could
So,
happen, right?
yeah, so many things could change on how quickly we're able to save children. Also, simply because it does have it on their driver's license. So
Correct.
I think I'm praying that this definitely is one that definitely gets passed. But we've got to get our people in our states to listen to us. It's hard for people to understand that it's not really what they're hearing from other people when they say it's against your rights and all this stuff, because it isn't. If you've ever sat on a jury or had a family member that's been had to go to court for any reason, whether they were guilty or innocent, you'll understand the process of what it's like to go through court. But once you are convicted in court, you have to go through sentencing. And there's so many different steps to make sure that the person's punished, or if they're not guilty, that they're not punished. There is many, many steps. And once a person is convicted of something because of DNA or evidence, that a jury chooses to say the person's guilty, we need to start following through with what the jury chooses for these people instead of letting judges say, well, that's too harsh, that type of stuff. We got to stop the judges from, pushing politics basically from the bench. That isn't their job. Their job is to follow through with what the jury decides. And if a jury thinks the person's guilty, then they should be punished for it. And to me, that is a very small thing to have something put on your driver's license to let people know that you are a sex offender. And I think I'm praying for that. I think that's an awesome way to save people. Just like
Absolutely.
you
We do
said.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I hope
And so
hope it.
that's why, that pretty much goes with our register as a sex offender for life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then that gets put on your record. And then, yep, Mikey, you are exactly right. We cannot keep giving them free passes. We can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're here. That's why we're where we're at today. You
Yeah, I think
know,
it's wonderful.
and so there's one other one I want to mention, and it's the post right above the one you're showing. And these
Okay.
are the two major initiatives that we really need help with right now. So
Mm-hmm.
first of all, like I said, we do take grants from other organizations, but we don't take the government grants. We are we're private donors, so what we are looking for in this post here is these are the two top initiatives that we have right now. One of them is the legislation task force, as I'm sharing. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things about Shepherd's Watch with our donations, I love the fact that you can choose where your money goes. So if you go to our main Give Butter, which is what the link you have, Janet,
Mm-hmm.
they're able to actually choose which fund they want their money to go to. And so these are actually two of those funds. And the QR code on each picture is specific to that fund. But one
Mm-hmm.
of
Right
them,
here.
yes. So one of them is for the legislation task force, like I was sharing, because we we like to put the money where the person chooses, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if they don't, though, of course, if they need something, if she needs something for supplies, of course, we're going to cover that. But we really like to be specific on we want the money to go where it's supposed to go. So if you want it to go to legislation task force, we want you to donate there because we still need things, right? Again, we are private funded. The other one is for our education podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you a little bit about that. We were asked and have been asked many a times to educate the children. Well, to be honest with y'all, Shepherd's Watch found that when we would go to educate children at schools, we found it more beneficial to be quiet and listen versus teach. Because
Mm-hmm.
we all know how children talk and talk and talk and talk. So we get to learn a lot more about how they are being groomed and who is trying to reach out to them on what type of platforms because they want to open up to us when we show up. They want to
Mm-hmm.
tell us all about those weirdos that they've got trying to connect with them online. And they do. Very quickly, they will start letting you know about it. So what we've decided on the educating the children, we more educate in person adults, okay? But for
Mm-hmm.
children, we're putting together the education podcast so that we can present it to schools. And this is done professionally by a podcast company who is already in many schools all over the United States. They do all of this already.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting together the education podcast for us. And it's going to be training three different areas of people. So the first one's going to be the children and their parents. And that will, again, we will approach. And I'm going to say it right now. If anyone in the United States already has, I'm trying, let me mute my phone there. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad I did because there goes another one. This is how it works in this business. It's
Mm-hmm.
24/7. It doesn't stop, guys. So, education podcast. We want you, if you're in the US, to find out if your school will be open to it. Would they be open to a professional podcast that a link that they would be able to share with their students to start teaching them about it because they need to be. And that's what this is going to be. This is going to be a link that we are able to upload to any school district or private school that wants groups, you know, Boy Scout groups, Girl Scout groups. I don't even know if they have those now. But this needs to go to all children. And they're going to learn from we're going to have interviewers and we're going to have interviewees, and it will be appropriate. There will not be any nudity shown. There will not be any, it'll be very professional, but it will be eye opening for them. It's also going to be, and I tell you, our interviewers are really cool. They're people everybody knows, so I can't wait. And I got to meet them, so that was even cooler. Um, because they're people that I definitely have watched myself. Right, I'm totally a normal person over here doing what I do, and it's really cool to meet people in this movement, right? That have had such big voices, but. So it's going to be teaching. I'm over all over the place at the moment, so I'll get back. That's going to be teaching children and their parents. The next one will be for professionals. That's going to be business people more geared towards, right, in your business
Mm-hmm.
life as you're going about corporate America. And then you have travel industry, which is huge as well, because you will see there was actually, and it's on Shepherd's Watch page. I'm not sure how far down, but y'all can go look at it later on the Shepherd's Watch X platform. And I'm pretty sure I put it on Facebook as well. I run the social media channels. We
Mhm.
find all the articles, right, that are proven to have happened, and they're articles that are already out in mainstream. So one of the articles you will find on there is there was some minors being trafficked out of a hotel. And so these are types of things that people need to be trained on, right? All hotels already are trained on human trafficking, but people need to know what to look for when they are traveling as well. And I'll go ahead and tell you a few things, but I'm definitely going to make them go over to the Tuesday night or Wednesday morning space for more of it because I definitely want to focus a lot on what we're doing with these initiatives. But I will say that, there's a few things you can look for when you are traveling and a few things they missed, and it's in that article. One of them is if children or anyone shows up with people that they look very distant from, of course, usually, but if children show up with adults and they don't have luggage, if people don't have luggage when they show up at a hotel, typically they're either there for a few hours doing something they shouldn't be doing or nothing else, right? I mean, they're there for a long period of time doing something they shouldn't be doing. But if you're going to a hotel, you usually have at least a change of clothes and your toothbrush, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
typically a man can't put that in his pocket, and a woman typically don't put all that in a purse. So
And also, too, a lot of people that I've talked to that said that they noticed that something was wrong is that they had two small children, but not a single toy.
correct. Yes, things like
The
that.
children
Yes.
were just standing, looking down to the ground, and the two children were holding hands, but they had no toys, and the parents had no bags, or they thought they were parents, whatever. It was a
Right.
man and a woman, and so they called 911 because they just said something didn't feel right. God gave us an intuition for a purpose. You don't always know what it is and why you're having it, but you have a feeling something's not right, and you start to look around. Uh,
Yes.
it's a natural thing, instinct that we have. We're all born with it. It's just that some of us just ignore it so much that it just doesn't work anymore. So anytime you just have a gut feeling that something isn't right, do something about it. Make a phone call. It doesn't hurt anything. And if it ends up being nothing, you at least you tried to do something for someone.
Right.
But
We
guess
want
what?
you
It
we
could
want
be.
you to inconvenience someone for 10
Yeah.
minutes to make
I
sure
mean,
someone's
if it
okay.
was my kid, I wouldn't be inconvenienced. I would think, oh my God, I'm so thankful that I'd be embarrassed for whatever reason, but I would still be thankful that somebody cared enough to make a phone call because they saw something that just didn't seem right to them.
Right.
And as a parent, I can see that. I can understand that, and I would be happy with it. So I would do it if
So
I felt something. So.
I just thought of something that we didn't think about prior to coming on.
Mhm.
Would you want to show your audience the 15-minute video, which has our
Yeah.
commercial in the beginning and then all of
Is
the
it on the
interview from
channel?
Dr.
Is it on
Phil?
their channel? Is it
It
on
is
the
it is on. Actually, I failed at getting it on YouTube before we got here, so you'll have to go back to the X platform to Shepherd's
okay.
Watch.
Mhm.
Typically, this
I'll
you
put
would
it down.
find this on the YouTube, but I didn't get it put on there with our web
All
designer
right. I
before I
can
got
bring it
on.
up. I'll bring it up. It's on their X channel.
Yes.
Okay. I will pull that up real quick. Just give me 1 second. I think this one is the one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
With
Okay,
the under
highlights.
media?
It's under highlights.
Oh, under
Oh, I
highlight.
didn't even know about the media tab. I haven't even
Yeah,
looked at
media
that.
usually takes you right to the
Gotcha. Well, I want to
all
show. Okay,
is
so
it
that's the
Dr. Phil?
trailer. That's the trailer of Dr. Phil.
Okay, I'm gonna
Um,
make it bigger like
that's the
this.
trailer, and then we'll go to the one underneath it to actually watch the entire one. But you can show that real quick. It's real short.
Okay, let's show it.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. At just 15 years old, Natalie was trafficked from Dallas. Did it hit you that you were being abducted? You're sedated, raped. They just kept you in a haze.
I was very out of it and confused.
Where are they getting these people from? And how are they being put into the sex trade?
The #1 recruiter is a female.
No one is truly safe until we all know the truth. That's next on Dr. Phil Primetime.
Yeah, I love Dr. Phil. He's been going to the border. He's just
He
been
has.
so
So
active on everything. But
if
yeah,
you
I'm
go
going
to
to go
the
to the next. Let me
go
go
to
to
the
the next.
first comment.
Okay.
It's the first comment under that post that you were just in.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if this is the right one again. Yeah. Okay, I gotta
So he
make it
actually
strong.
did. Their crew did a
This
1
right
day.
here or down
No, go
below.
down to where you. Go back up.
This is
Where
the
is it?
show.
Okay, now click in the comments. See, her head
Right
is
here.
right there. It's that video
Okay.
where her head is. Yep.
All right. Here we go.
This is a compilation. So this is a commercial for Shepherd that was made for Shepherd's Watch in the beginning, and then now this is a compilation of all the pieces of the interview put together, so that you don't have to go through all the commercials.
I can't get it to come up as a commercial. It's not doing anything. There's nothing to click on.
Go to the YouTube link right above her head.
Okay, right here.
Yes.
All right.
All right, there you go. It's not coming up.
Oh, wait, let me pause it. Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to open it that way through the, I'm going to have to stop this screen and open it through the other one. Sorry. Here we go. Now you can see it, right?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. I started it over. Here we go.
5 million women and children are trafficked annually. Online platforms make it easier than ever to exploit minors. Ordering a minor is as easy as ordering takeout online. Every swipe, every click, every transaction fuels a $150 billion industry of modern-day slavery. Trafficking isn't hidden, it's in plain sight.
Tonight on Dr. Phil Primetime. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. At just 15 years old, Natalie was trafficked from Dallas. Did it hit you that you were being abducted? You're sedated, raped, they just kept you in a haze.
I was very out of it and confused.
Where are they getting these people from? And how are they being put into the sex trade?
The #1 recruiter is a female.
No one is truly safe until we all know the truth.
So the lady that's being interviewed is our investigative intelligence director.
Okay.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry built on manipulation, coercion, and unimaginable suffering. And it's happening right here in the United States. Human trafficking is one of the most underreported crimes, leaving us with only a fraction of the true scope. It's in our cities, our suburbs, and even our social media feeds. Tonight, we'll expose the shocking tactics traffickers use to lure victims, hear from survivors who escaped the unthinkable, and learn what you can do to stop modern-day slavery. This is the wake-up call America needs, because no one is truly safe until we all know the truth. My first guest, who goes by Lisa, has been a private investigator for 13 years and an informant working undercover to probe alleged human trafficking. She does it with the help of a remote team member, pinpointing high traffic locations and collecting data by engaging with ads posted on the dark web. Lisa gave us exclusive access on one of her missions to surveil suspected hotspots and show us what type of information she passes on to police.
Okay, we are here.
Let's see if we can get a room number from them. Again, there's multiple ads, multiple phone numbers, and at least 20 girls. I'll send you guys one of the ads right now.
Got it. A lot of these ads from these places
It's like, ordering takeout. And we've got a guy that's in the parking lot on his phone with his dog. He's definitely a spotter. And then you have a guy that's walking around in the parking lot on his phone, and he's communicating to somebody. These guys have this place locked down. So I've got your other pimp walking in right now.
There's a Mustang.
I think that this has got to be our guy running this ring, because he's the one that's circling the parking lot like crazy. These guys are making a lot of money. 120 for every 15 minutes, making about $1 million a year.
She just texted me in Spanish and asked if we're the police, and I said no.
Yeah, the guy with the hat, you see the pimp, and that young girl, she's working there.
That's your arrangement right there.
Yeah.
She said we can leave if we're not going to knock on the door.
Doesn't look right.
What do we got?
Lisa and her team had been spotted, so they had to move on to their next location and do so in a hurry.
We'll also be looking at illicit massage businesses that are full service. We're going to go see what we can get as far as surveillance for law enforcement. Oh my goodness, there's a kindergarten. You got to be kidding me. We have a
Kindergarten next door.
Next to a very, very, very popular, active illicit massage business. And we have John number 2 walking out. Let's go.
Do you have gift cards? Gift card? No, I don't have. You don't have gift cards?
No. Okay.
No?
Who gives a massage in shorty shorts and high heels? The reason why we ask for gift cards is that most legitimate massage places are going to have a gift card system. But illicit businesses, they don't have a gift card system. So we're going to take the information that we found today, shoot this over to law enforcement. Hopefully some girls will be saved for sure, and we can identify these traffickers.
Okay, now while we do not have rock hard proof of human trafficking, Lisa and her team have strong suspicion that that is exactly what's going on in these locations. Law enforcement will get her intel and decide whether to charge these businesses. Now, this is Lisa's first ever media appearance, and for her safety, we're keeping her identity concealed, and that's why you're seeing a bit of a different image. And look, thank you for doing this, first off.
Absolutely.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Both. Why did you decide to start doing this?
Well, we were seeing a lot of ads online, and I was working in cell forensics, and I was seeing a lot of stuff come across the cell phones, started to put together data and target packages for law enforcement as an informant, and then decided to do a nonprofit.
Okay, now you say cell forensics. It wasn't investigating this type thing.
No, it was downloading mobile phones for law firms and working in the capacity of getting the data off of the phones. We were seeing a lot of trafficking, and then transferred into working as an informant, and then partnered with an intelligence team. And now we build target packages for law enforcement.
Okay, so you were looking for other things, and you just started noticing, wow, there's just an awful lot going on here that seemed to you suspicious.
Absolutely. It was a lot of sex ads.
And what you were seeing were sex ads popping up that were just being sent to people, unsolicited sex ads?
Sex ads that were being sent back and forth, but also people going to the sites and looking for sex on their phones.
Okay. And these are specific sites that people know to go to.
Correct.
Okay. And so when you see these, you know, particularly if they intensify in a particular area, then you know, okay, where are these sex workers coming from? And that's where you start to get bothered.
Yes.
Okay. And the sex workers come from where? When you say they're trafficked, where do these providers, pimps, kidnappers, traffickers, whatever you want to call them in a certain context, where are they getting these girls, mostly girls, some guys, of course, some young men, but where are they getting these people from?
Well, you're going to have a difference between domestic trafficking and migrant trafficking. Domestic trafficking can come from grooming, can come from kidnapping. When you talk about migrant trafficking, that's a lot of the people that come in from the border, male, female, and children.
Okay. Let's talk about domestically. We're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. There's millions of people here. And some of these young girls are actually from this area. And they're from schools and homes that people encounter every day. How do they come to be trafficked? They might be in a home in the Metroplex area here one week, and the next week they're showing up in these motels or massage parlors or whatever. How are they getting acquired by these bad actors, and how are they being put into the sex trade?
Well, we see girls, boys, mostly girls, coming in from out of state. A lot of them, they hook up with a female recruiter or considered a boyfriend. And the next thing they know, they're being trafficked into Texas. And now they're in a sex trafficking ring. We see people that are plied with drugs or alcohol, ketamine. And the next thing they know, they're being photographed and they're uploaded to porn sites, and then they're leveraged into trafficking as well.
Okay, and you say they hook up with, so there's some girl at a mall, there's some girl at a sporting event. Where are they hooking up, and how are they approached, and what do they say to them?
Well, what we're finding is the number one recruiter is a female, and they can be working at the mall. They can be tricked into thinking they're going into modeling. It can be somebody that befriends them that they don't know very well. They can pick them up from a party, and the next thing they know, they're being drugged and brought into the trafficking rings. It can be many different places that they gather these victims.
Okay, so it's usually, if you say the best recruiter is a female,
Yes.
so they're not as put off by that. So a woman, usually someone older, approaches them and starts befriending them, talking to them, and maybe offers them something, alcohol, drugs, you want to go with me somewhere, et cetera, tells them something they want to hear, gives them something that they think they want, but it's more than they bargained for. And they get them into an altered state of consciousness where they can manipulate them and move them, get them somewhere, and then they're not able to leave.
Correct.
And they give them a lot of drugs where now they're just simply don't have the ability to take the initiative to get up and go save themselves.
Correct.
Okay. Now, coming up, a night out with Lisa, who tracks this kind of thing, deals with this kind of thing. And by the way, Lisa's not some cowboy that's just out recklessly doing this because she wants to be some do-gooder. She works with law enforcement. She's not a vigilante. She gathers information. She lets law enforcement know what she's doing before she does it. She gives the information over to law enforcement afterwards. She's not, trying to ride in on some white horse and do something dramatic. She's responsibly gathering information with sponsorship from law enforcement, turning it over to law enforcement, and sharing very important critical information. And thank you for doing what you do. What you're hearing here is really a prototype. I mean, this is exactly what happens.
It is. And first of all, I'd like to say I am so sorry for what happened to you, but you are a hero and you are courageous. And thank you so much for speaking out so that you can give a heads up to other potential victims that don't see the warning signs. They don't know that there's the possibility this can happen. And unfortunately, this does happen more than people know.
And that's the problem. You went to multiple locations, multiple states, and they just kept you in a haze.
Yeah.
All right. And there was a third guy at the apartment. You're held at a makeshift apartment for a couple of days. You're sedated, raped by a man and his friend. And at one point, you were dropped off on a strip of a road and told to make money with a plan to be picked up later. These pictures that they were taking, you got a private investigator involved, right?
Yes.
And this person went on the dark web?
I'm not even 100% sure of his methods, but We were referred to him by a friend of a friend, and I sent him, and just in desperation of not having any leads and any assistance with, police or anything, sent him some pictures, and he just said, "I'll call you back if there's a match." I didn't really know what was going to be matched, but later found out it was facial recognition type stuff.
Okay, and he came back with a report that said she is on some sites and she is up for sale.
Yes, he told me, I think I've got a match, and it was only, I think, 86% of a match. So, he said that's still pretty good, but, he said, I'm going to show you how to get to these pictures. And he did. And even when I saw the photos of her, I don't know if my brain wouldn't process it, but I had to get verification from my husband and my mom that it indeed really was her.
And the ad was for her up for sale.
Yes.
To buy her.
Yes.
We're talking to sex trafficking survivor Natalie. You had no idea what they were doing with these pictures. You had no idea you were up for sale. How often does this happen, Lisa, in terms of how often do they keep control and just exploit them? You said in some of these sex trafficking places, it's like $120 for 15 minutes, and then other times they sell them. What's the difference? How do they decide, keep them, work them, sell them?
I think it's going to depend. Sex trafficking ring to sex trafficking ring. You can have traffickers flip girls from one location to the other. They might get an inkling that people are looking for them. It might be missing girl or boy pages online, and they might transfer them out of state. So we see trafficking rings working Oklahoma, Louisiana with Texas that are part of the same ring, and they'll flip them in and out, but they keep them in the rings as long as they can. I mean, we've seen rings that are working out of motel sites for up to 4 months, which is, unusual, but we've seen it. And it's the same girls rotating in and out, and then they'll move them. And when they sell them, how much do they sell them for? I think that's going to vary in range. When you're getting $120 for 15 minutes, or in some rings, it's $160 for 30 minutes, there's no telling what the price tag can be for some of these victims. Yeah, because that's approaching $1,000 an hour, $800 to $1,000 an hour. And so that's a lot of money per day. So if they sell them, it's got to be for a lot of money. It is for a lot of money. You next encountered a man.
That's the end of it.
Yes, ma'am.
For 10 days.
Okay. Wow, that is really heartbreaking.
Right? It is. It really is.
Sad.
That girl there, I share this quite a bit. Okay. I was looking at you on my laptop and you were talking and I couldn't hear you. And I'm like, okay, hold on. That's the behind. That girl specifically there, she was sold 3 times in 73 different networks in 72 hours. Yeah, this can definitely go fast. We also see a lot that goes between the casinos. There's a lot that goes, and they'll just move the groups of girls from different casino to casino. And, people that know what they're doing can watch this and they can see them moving, and they show up one spot and they'll stay there for, however long they're needed, and they'll move them on to another casino.
Well, one thing that would really help, I think, is not just putting the traffickers in prison and making them have to put it on their driver's license and all that, and some of them getting the death penalty, which I truly believe in. But what about all the people who pay for these young girls and boys? I mean, shouldn't they also be
that's where it goes back.
Extension? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So that's where it goes back to local action, guys, because you need to make sure that you have laws like Texas. So for Texas now, buying sex is a felony, period.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if it's a minor or not. Buying sex in Texas is now a felony.
This whole thing
get caught,
makes my stomach churn. I mean, I already told you about the personal thing that happened to my family last year with my niece, and it was her uncle. Okay. uh, that was molesting her. And when she went to court, okay, because she had to talk about everything that happened to her, and the DA had to stand up there and tell us all what he had done. I was in tears when he was talking about a little 9-year-old looking up at her abuser. Just it was heartbreaking. But the fact now is that every 5 years she's going to have to go and face him to keep him in jail. So basically, she's still in jail. You see what I mean? It's that they
Yes.
win. These people that do these things to these young kids, or older women, or whoever it is that you're trafficking, is they never lose control of these people, because we have to constantly go to defend ourselves against a person who's already in prison for the crime. And relive it. So even if she finds a boyfriend, or goes to college and gets a career, they still have to leave everything, go back and face this person again to keep them in jail. I just think it's disgusting. I wish there was a better way of dealing with these people that commit these crimes, because if the people didn't pay to have sex with these young kids, there would be no reason
You are correct.
at all.
If we
Do it.
stop the demand, there will be no need for a supply.
Mhm.
Absolutely. We say that all the time because they see them as commodities. This is a way for, those that have, I I don't even know what to call them. Those that have that demented thinking, this is a way for them to make money. So it's absolutely, stop the demand. There will be no supply. Absolutely, 1000%. And I want to share something. So Chris in your chat says that he's in Oklahoma, and I just shared we're in Oklahoma as well, Chris. We just actually landed in Oklahoma. So if you're looking to volunteer and would like to get involved, please reach out to us on our website. We definitely need some more volunteers in Oklahoma. We are opening up there.
And I'm
Yes.
going to share all the links I have again. I'm going to share Brandi's email address. I'm going to share the Shepherd Watch Foundation's website email, or link. I'm going to share the Shepherd's Watch Twitter page. I'm going to share everything I have that Brady's given me in the chat. So please, everyone, bookmark all of these links and go and check them out, at your leisure, and share them. Share them with your family and your friends. Share them on your Facebook, on your Snapchat, on your Instagram, Rumble. I'm airing right now on Rumble too, so I will go over to Rumble. So you have to talk a little bit while I go to Rumble and share all these links also over there. Because
Absolutely.
even on the replays, it's going to have these links, so that other people will be able to save those. So I'll be right back. But would you go ahead and
Absolutely. Yeah.
where was that?
So I'll also share a little bit more about the volunteer needs. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, I have the list on my phone and I cannot go away from StreamYard, or it's going to take me out to tell you.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to miss at least one of them, but I can tell two of them that I do know we need for sure. And that is someone that's experienced in grant writing. So again, like I said, we are more private donor based. However, we do take grants from organizations and other philanthropy groups. So we want someone that's experienced in grant writing. We definitely need you to reach out if you're looking to volunteer with us. Everyone who volunteers does have to complete the volunteer application on our website. Once we find a spot for you, according to your interest, because you're going to put your interest, and we have a list there of what you can choose to work with, and according to your interest and what your profession is, as far as what do you have experience in, what does your background look like, we'll take both of those things put together, figure out where we have a spot for you, and then you'll pay for your background check. Everyone does get a thorough background check, and that's $45. So we're very transparent about that. Yep, right there. You just click that link, complete that volunteer application, and get the process started. And we take volunteers from all over the United States. The only boundaries we have is you have to be a citizen, not a citizen, but you have to be within the United States. because we don't have the abilities to background people outside of the U.S. So you do have to be in the U.S. Um, but the other than the grant writer, I also can tell you that we need people that are in the Dallas Metroplex area. If you're
Mm-hmm.
in the Dallas area at all, we definitely need more volunteers for events for that area. That's where most of our team is. Myself, I'm in the Hill Country. So at the moment, I'm not needing volunteers in my area. I'm very packed with those, but we definitely need them in the Dallas area. We also need someone who is a profession, has a profession possibly for graphic design. Anyone that would like to, donate volunteer their services, just like our web designer does. She volunteers her services with us, but she does this professionally. So definitely, I'm checking this out. That's awesome. Well, you know what? We definitely need also, you just made me think of something when it said worked for military. We love our veterans. If there's any
Mm-hmm.
veterans out there, you got time on your hands and you're wanting to volunteer somewhere, hit us up. We love our veterans and we want to make sure they have somewhere to go for
Well, I
sure.
have an idea. When a few years back, when I was in the Junior Chamber of Commerce, we had a little group of women. It was called the Puma Corps, putting up with men's attitude. And we had a meeting once a month. And when you came to the meeting, you had to bring something like toiletries. Oh, darn it! She dropped. She'll be right back. Toiletries. Shampoo. Other items like that. And when we come to the meeting, we'd bring this little bag with some of these items in it, and then we would take that bag and we would donate it to the Bed and Women's Shelter. But I'm sure that if you had a little group after you met with the people in your area, that they could tell you what they need for the people that they do help, and like new clothes, underwear, toiletries, whatever they're going to need while they're in transition back and forth after the police are able to rescue them. So there's so many different things in different ways that you can help, and it doesn't mean it has to be expensive. But the thing is, if you get a hold of any of these people on these websites, or send Brandi an email or whatever, and ask questions, find out what there is available in the area that you're at, and what choices you might have of ways of helping. So that's important. But the thing is, the first thing you do, you have to reach out to find
Right?
out what's needed. So don't be afraid to ask questions. They want to help, and they want to help you understand the need that's going on, because you don't know what you can do until you find out what's going on in your area, and see what you can do. So that's all I want to do is this. That was just one thing that I've done in 2 different states, Louisiana and Arkansas, for Better Women. But it really isn't that much different, the way that you can help people with donations, your time, and you have to be very quiet. You don't get to meet a lot of these people at all, because they all have secret jobs, basically, to save people. But knowing that you're doing something good, and helping others that really need help, I'm telling you, there's nothing like it, to know that you've helped someone that was at the bottom. I mean, the very bottom of their life.
Right.
And you help bring them back by your kindness, and just the effort you made, making a phone call, or sending a check, or volunteering to send emails. And there's so many different little jobs that you can do that can make such a difference. So just if you have a little bit of time, just contact them and find out what you might be able to do for any of these groups.
And you
Go ahead.
just said so many things that I was like, yep, yep. Emails, I mean, all of it is done by volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Yes. So we definitely need many people with many hats. However, whatever your hat looks like, come on in and let's see if we can find a spot for you for sure.
Yeah.
Because we definitely need it. And I'm also putting in your chat the space schedule. So I'll
Okay.
say real
I'm
quick. So on
going to,
Tuesday nights,
I'm going to
on
bring it
Tuesday,
up real quick.
okay. On Tuesday nights from 7 to 9 Central, I host on my personal uh profile,
Yeah.
which is Truth Fighter 33. I
Mhm.
host a Protect the Children space, and it's counter trafficking, and a lot of Protect the Children organizations come in. Now, I'm going to tell
Mm.
you right now, the organizations that you find that come in on a Tuesday night are vetted. They know what they're doing, and they're asked to come in. You will not find anyone in here that we have not vetted. We do not just let anyone up here and talk like they're professionals in this area, and that's very important to us. We want to make sure that we're only, and when I say we, myself, as well as my co-host, we
Mm.
all want to make sure that the people that we are promoting are doing what they say they are doing. There are a lot of organizations, unfortunately, out there, and Mikey in the chat can definitely back me up on this. There's a lot of organizations taking donations out there, guys, that do not do what they say they do. And it's very important that you vet people on where your donations go as well. So
Mhm.
everybody from donors to, background check, everything should be vetted, and it is for us. Nobody
100%.
comes in not vetted, 100%. But
Mhm.
I just put this now in the bottom. So Tuesday night is the Protect the Children Counter Trafficking Space on Tuesday night, 7 to 9 Central. And that's held on my private profile. And then on Shepherd's Watch profile, we co-host a Circle of Protection Space every Wednesday morning from 8 to 10
Mhm.
Central.
Okay, I'm
And
gonna bring this other
that
one.
one, we actually, so the host is the co-owner of Rangers, Vets, and Leos group on X,
This
which is
one
an amazing group.
right here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Tuesday night one. That's the
Yep.
one that we just had on Tuesday night. And
Mhm.
then the other
But you
one
have it
you'll
every week, right?
we do every week on Tuesday
Every
night.
single
Yes.
week.
Yep.
So come to this profile right here, and I'm going to copy it and put it in the chat, and follow this profile so that you don't miss any of these wonderful spaces. It's so informative, and they're really good people. And if you have a question, all you do is ask for a mic and raise your hand, and you might get called and you'll be able to be heard by all the people in the space. It's wonderful. It's exciting. It's a wonderful tool to help others. And so I really encourage you to get to go to these.
And
I love
same thing in there, Janet. And you've been in there, you see it. We don't
mm-hmm.
just let anybody up either, right?
Mm-mm.
You it's
They'll go and look
all.
at your profile and everything to make sure that
Yep.
you're a legitimate, not a
And you
bot.
will be vetted. You will be vetted
Mhm.
before you're given a mic. And
Yeah.
so if it takes a minute, just please be patient. But that's how we have to work to make sure that people know when they come to our space, they're coming to a reputable space that is ran the way it should be professionally. And we are
Mm-hmm.
going to make sure everybody is protected, whether you're a listener or a speaker, doesn't matter. Because, this is another reason we don't hold we've only held one survivor space, actually two. One of them was called a survivor space. We had two survivors come in. I do know one of them personally, the other one I met online. And then we had another survivor space that was specifically for Lynn Piper Loomis. And she's the survivor from America's Future that goes around on their circuit with them. It's very important to hear survivor stories, but again, we vet everybody coming in, and it doesn't matter if they're in an organization or if they say they're a survivor, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we don't hold many survivor spaces. For the pure fact of I can't vet a survivor story, and I'm not going to question it either because that's not the thing to do. So we just really stay away from survivor spaces. Now, that right there that you're circling, thank you
Mm-hmm.
for saying that. So if anyone is in Texas, you
Mm-hmm.
can reach out on our website on the contact form and ask us to do a Protect the Children town hall in your community. And
Yes.
so, depending on the area, one of our board of directors will come. Eventually, we do want to have, and this is another volunteer opportunity. We're just not ready for it yet. But if you want to say that this is what you want to do, you can put it in the maybe send us a contact form on this if you want to do this. But we're going to be looking for ambassadors very soon all over the U.S. And we're going to want ambassadors in every single state representing Shepherd's Watch and presenting. And I think I might be looking at one that's looking at me on the camera right now. But
We'll
yeah, we want
see.
it. Yeah, we need
Mhm.
ambassadors. And that's
Yeah.
where you can take this information to your community, guys. You can do it yourself. And also at the same time, you're going to protect your community when you're educating them on this. One of the
Hmm.
things we do that's different as well is we're not just going to come in when we go over to we do these town halls. We bring information from the town we're in as well. So when
Yeah.
you're sitting in one of these and you have somebody telling you, "Oh, we don't have a problem. This is just something that doesn't happen." Well, then when they find out the information that we tell them about their area, then they begin to listen. And
Hmm.
that's what we need them to do. We need them to pay attention at the things that are going on in their own communities because, Texas can't help Arkansas, but Arkansas can help Arkansas. And so
Hmm.
we already have volunteers from all over the US doing other things, but we will be having presenters as well. So that's going to be something that anyone that's hearing this and they want to get involved, they want to roll out Shepherd's Watch in their area, go ahead and send us a contact form. If you want to do just the ambassador, then go ahead and fill out that contact form and say, "Hey, I heard Brandy on Janet's podcast and I would love to be an ambassador for my state or my town whenever you roll it out." And we'll keep that together. And when it's time, we'll reach out to you. We haven't quite set that up yet. Our new vice president, she's amazing, Marshall Bell. She is also and that's one of her pictures up there in the Protect the Children. She
Hmm.
is right now hot and heavy on the education podcast. So she's got a lot going on. So we're not quite ready for the ambassador program, but it will be within the next few. But we're hoping by the mid year we'll have it rolled out because it
Yeah, I
needs to
wanted to
move
share.
fast.
Yeah, I wanted to share this with everyone. Again, this is on the Shepherd's Watch website. Okay, and I've shared it multiple times in the chat. It just says for media inquiries, sponsorship requests, collaboration opportunities, or event invitations, please use this contact form below and just fill it out and they will contact you. Okay, so if you're interested in helping, this is another way that you can get the information you need to help them in your state, in the state of Texas. This is the one for Texas. But the thing is that by contacting these people, you can ask questions about what they might offer in your state. So if you don't ask questions, you're never going to find out anything. So I just
And I
want
will
to let you know.
absolutely. And you know what? The only dumb question is the one that's not asked. I always say
That's
that.
right.
So please
Hmm.
ask any question that you have for sure.
Hmm.
Well, and you want to make an informed decision, right? So you
Hmm.
need to have all the information. But also, I wanted to state, we are only licensed in Texas. However, our volunteers are from everywhere, and we have things you can do right now in other states. We just don't have the ambassador program rolled out. But a lot of people, they want to work with us. Just talking with, like, say for instance, with me, I do the spaces, right? So I get a lot of people coming calling and saying, "What can I do around here? Do you know anything about this place? I want to go to my sheriff." Well, we give you that information. We'll help you talk to your sheriff. You can talk to your sheriff. We will give you the information you want to get their attention. However, we don't
Hmm.
train law enforcement. Now, we have been asked that. We've been asking many different people in our spaces. I've gotten messages, asking, "If I hook you up with my law enforcement, can you train them?" We don't train law enforcement. We are not law enforcement. And that is one thing too to know. When you see that down there with that phone number about needing help, we are not law enforcement. So if someone is in a situation and they need help immediately, they need to call 911. Do not
Hmm.
call us. We cannot respond. We're not law enforcement. We can help in other ways, but we are not law enforcement. And it's very important to say that because, I know that I can't imagine being in that situation, but I don't want people seeing that and thinking where they're lying to getting help when
Hmm.
they could pick up that phone and dial 911 and the cops could be there within minutes.
Yes.
So,
But the thing is, we have to start somewhere.
yes.
Texas is already working hard and they're growing. Okay. Shepherd's Watch Foundation is growing fast, and
Very fast.
with the help of people like us that just want to volunteer because we see the need and we're trying to do something to help. And the thing is, once this catches on, I mean, Dr. Phil thought it was pretty good to interview someone and talk about this because it is a real thing. It's just that it's just taken so long for people to finally accept that it is a problem and that we need to do something about it. We need to stop it. Just like my number one thing would be, if there was any way I could figure it out, I would push the fact that we have got to stop the people that pay for all these people. Because just like we were saying earlier, if you didn't have people wanting to buy these people as slaves, basically to use for their needs or just disgusting needs, we wouldn't have a problem.
Correct.
So to me, when you, just like drugs or anything else, if you don't have the need for it, it doesn't happen. And it's up to us as Americans that love our children and love our schools and love our communities and want to see them safe, to step up to the plate and say, no more in our town. We're not doing this stuff. We're not letting this happen. And if you buy a kid, you're going to pay. I mean, you might
Yes.
pay with your life thanks to this
Yes.
new president that we have, which is one thing that I'm definitely happy for, because Trump did do his best he could, that I could tell, his first term in his first 2 years before COVID hit. And he's hitting the ground running again with pushing this, because he is definitely against trafficking, human trafficking. And we all got to work together to save
It
our
is.
country, save our people.
We
Mhm.
do. It's our responsibility, and that's what I believe personally, that, maybe people don't acknowledge it because they know they're going to have to do something about it and they can't ignore it when they do. But it's time to open our eyes, and it's time to, uh, who's that? We
Oh,
got room.
he's a friend of mine. He's from Ontario,
Oh, that's
Canada.
awesome. That's
And
awesome.
but I was just going to tell him we've already been going for an hour and a half. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say
But
Russell.
you know what? I appreciate you so very much for allowing us to come back and really talk specifically about what we do. I'm totally game for coming back in some more education,
I
but
want you to come back
it
every
was,
chance you can.
I will. I
Anything I
will.
can help with, I want to do it. You know how I feel about this, even when we're not on camera. We've
Yep,
had lots of
absolutely.
discussions about it, and I am livid when it comes to this type of stuff, because it is just so disgusting to
It
me. And
is.
I want to see all of these people in prison, every one of them. I won't be happy till we see all of them, because this shouldn't even be something we even talk about. You know what I mean?
Well, and I want to tell everyone that's on X, you can go. There's a very important document that I want you to go find as well in our article, in our highlights on Shepherd's Watch. And that is our flyer that tells you what to look for and what to do.
Okay.
So we do
Where is
need
it
to.
at on here?
It's on the Shepherd's Watch X profile. It's not on there.
Oh, on the Shepherd's
No,
Watch.
yeah.
Okay,
So
hold
you
on.
can. Yeah, I was just telling your people they
Let me
can go
pull that
find
up
it
real
if you
quick.
don't want to.
That's all right. I'm
So
gonna
this.
find it.
Okay, so it's on our highlights tab of Shepherd's Watch, and it's a flyer that was made up by. It was made up by me, and I was talking to our investigative intelligence director that you saw on there on Dr. Phil. And this was made when, so we were aligned at one time with,
Where is it on here? Do you know? Do you
it's a blue
remember?
and white flyer. It's going to pop out right at you when you see it because it's just blue and white. Just keep going down and you'll find it.
Yeah, I
But
am.
this was made for the truckers. And keep going.
I was
It's
reading that.
down quite a ways. I made it a long time ago. So it's
I'm gonna
down
have
at
to go
is
this.
that the end?
No, that was the end of that. I was gonna go to highlights and see if it's on that, or is it just a
Yeah, it should be
post?
on highlights. No, it's on
Okay.
highlights.
Yeah, I
That's
was
where
on
I
media.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Sorry.
I don't know what goes on to media and what don't, so I just don't even go over there. I don't know why it's not on the media if it because it is a post. Is that
Is it?
highlights?
Yeah, this is highlights. I'm going to have
Oh,
to
it
go to
must have
post.
been undone. Oh no. Okay. Um,
Let me go to
I
post.
posted it under the last. There you go. Go to that next space, not the one that was above, but keep going to the next. Yeah, right there. Is
Here,
that my?
this right
I
here.
can't see. Is that my space?
Uh, this
This
says
not
protected
Sally.
children.
Yeah, not Sally, but the
This
space
right
above
here.
it. What does the one above it say?
This one
Yes, I
says
can't
circle of
see.
protection.
Okay, if you click in those
RBLG
comments,
Shepherd's Watch.
yep, it's
Okay.
going to be in those
Right in the
comments.
comments. Okay. Right here. This.
No, it's blue and white. Go down.
Sorry.
Keep going. And watch. Watch, I didn't even put it. Keep going.
I am.
I should have. I do it every time.
Nope, it's not on there.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, it's usually under every space we have. Lord have mercy. Okay, well, I messed that one up. But I know that it's typically under every space, so I must have messed
Well,
that up.
I'm going to go down
My
trying to find another
apologies.
space
We
and
have lost one of
look.
our teammates. There it is right there.
Oops.
I saw
Right
it. There
here.
it is. That's it. Yes.
Okay. Can you see that?
So that's the what to look for and what to do. And I will go make sure it's an article underneath the highlights as soon as I
Mm-hmm.
get out of here so that everybody knows where to find it. But this was put together. We had the truckers in mind, but it's really for everyone. This is something also when the border was open. However, this still applies because everyone that has come through the border is now on the interior. Okay. So I want everyone to pay attention to these things of what to look for. If you have any questions of what this means, definitely reach out to us because I know we've been going a while and this is usually only
Mm-hmm.
an hour and I don't want to
Yeah.
go too over. But definitely reach out to us if you have any questions. But we want you to call out state law enforcement in the area if possible. And the reason we tell you that is because, let's just say you call your little local county sheriff and you see a vehicle that you think something has happened, right? Maybe there is somebody fighting. Maybe somebody is pushed into a car. We want you to call state because if you call someone that may not call the next county over and they pass through that jurisdiction line, they may not be able to pursue. You don't know. So we want you would prefer to call state law enforcement. Doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
not to call 911. Call 911 and in general they usually do contact state law enforcement.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's that. And then there's also suspicious activities, how to report those. And I did see that in the highlights. So I believe this one was probably unchecked by accident to go to
Yeah.
highlights. So there's also another one that was in highlights that says how to support or report a suspicious activity. That's just as important, guys, because a lot of times something may happen and something's not right, but it's not something that you can call law enforcement on because you didn't see anything happen to call them. Well, you can still report suspicious activity. And that's a little further down. I am going to touch on that before we go, just so that everybody
Okay.
knows where to find us in
Let's
April.
make sure. Is this it?
It's right. It's not that one. It's the one right under it. Yep,
Right
right
here.
there.
Okay. Here you go.
Yep. How to report suspicious activity. I want you to save that as well. That will get you to the nearest fusion center if you call the number or if you email them. But if you're in Texas, you can download the iWatch Texas app and do it from right your phone right there. Yep.
Yep.
So
I'm
that's
going to
very
retweet it right now.
yep. So
So,
you can report suspicious activity
mhm.
from that app if you're in Texas. And you might have one in your state. So check it out because this is all over the US to how to report, I keep saying support suspicious activity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very important because over time, right, investigators can look at those reports and see a pattern and that could help a case. That may not have been a case 2 months ago, but now that they see that this person is named in all these, or this vehicle license plate number is in all of these. I mean, there's so many things that it can help with. So that's
Mhm.
definitely a big thing to know about. But one of the last things I want to touch on, and then we're good. I do want to touch on if anyone is in Wisconsin next month, April 25th and 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Shepherd's Watch is honored to be asked to participate in the America's Future. It's called Get in the Fight, and it is yeah, it's up there. It's the flyer right above that. You were on it a moment ago. So this is a panel. This is actually put on by America's Future, and again, it's called Get in the
This
Fight.
one?
Uh
Yeah, right
huh.
here.
So this is General Flynn's organization, and Lara Logan will be there. Tara Rodas will be there. We love Tara Rodas. She's one of our heroes. Linz Piper Loomis, Jared Sadolski, and then you see our investigative intelligence director. I'm sorry, not her. It was the legislation task force. Krista
Yeah.
Shield is there, and you're going to get to meet Michelle Peterson. And the tickets are only $40, and it's a panel on Friday night. But it's not just that. On Saturday, you actually get to pick your classes and take courses all day. So you get to specialize what you want to learn about and how to watch out for the human trafficking or the sex
Mm-hmm.
trafficking or sextortion or how porn rewires the brain. There's so many different classes you can choose from.
They going to do this in other states?
They are. This is the first one for this year.
Are they going to, is there a special place to go to get more information about this
So
group of
there,
people?
it's americasfuture.net is their website. And then you can just watch that. They do not, and I'll put it down there. They do not have like it's not like the full year isn't written out yet, right? Because they have to find you have to find churches. So what they do at these is they find churches just like we do. So that we
Mhm.
can, and I put the website right down there so y'all can watch for them. um, they search for churches to be a part of, and because a lot of times too, number one, we want to be in a church because we're all led by God. Number one, I can
Mhm.
say that we are not faith based, but we are our foundation is not, but we are absolutely this team is led by God.
Mhm.
And also their team as well. So they go to churches just like we do when they present. But it's also because of those classes. So you need different classrooms, right? To have to have the different classes in. So they
Mhm.
typically big churches are set up for that. And so
Yeah,
yeah,
this is
it was
wonderful.
awesome though. I went the first time as a guest, right? We went to be a part of it as in the audience. Um didn't really spend much time in my classes because we were networking and talking about what we do so much and thing working on the backside. But the classes are extremely important, people. I want to share, if you're a realtor, they have a realtor class, what to watch for if you're a realtor, who to report it to. I mean, those things are so important. And I don't know anyone else who does that type of training. I just don't. But
That's what I
it's
want.
for a lot of different people.
If this comes to my state, I am definitely going to sign up to go because I would like to go to the classes and stuff, and learn as much as I could possibly learn if it's going to help my state. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
when
And
this
see, that's
comes,
what
I
I
definitely
did.
do know I do want to do it.
And
So
because of
this
me
would be
being a part of Shepherd's Watch, I
mhm.
chose the I chose the courses and the first time I went that were going to help me in the role I do for the foundation, right?
Mhm.
But now I want to go back for all the other ones because I mean, I can't fill my toolbox enough. I just
Yeah,
don't
you
think
can never
anyone
learn
can.
enough. I mean,
No,
there's always room for more learning, no matter
for
what.
sure. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so yeah, but we're excited. So we're
I think it's
growing
great.
and but that again is the bigger we grow, the more volunteers we need, for
Mhm.
sure. But oh, one more thing I want to share real quick about that education podcast is that
Mhm.
there is a button if anyone wants to be a corporate sponsor, because a lot of big businesses and a lot of corporations like to give to charities that do
Mhm.
things that are, that they're behind. Well, we're looking for corporate sponsorships on that education podcast. And if you decide to be on that podcast and on sponsoring us for that
Mhm.
podcast, your name and your logo will be attached to that podcast. So you will be advertised every single place those links are played. So there's advertisement for the people that are helping us as well get that out. So yeah, I mean, we're
Awesome.
excited. Awesome. We got tons of things to do. And we're so
Yeah.
excited to be on here again. Thank you so very much for this, Janet.
You're so welcome. I'm so thankful that you were able to join me tonight. And man, it was some good information you gave out tonight. And I'm so proud of how much it's growing since the
It's
last time you
grown.
were on. Yeah,
Right.
I'm really happy. And I just adore you. I just think you're such a wonderful person. You're a great friend. You just got a heart of gold. I mean, there are just so few people like you. I mean, you're just so well-rounded about what's best, for people. And people don't even realize that they're lacking in anything, until they meet someone like you. And then you go, wow, man, I want to strive to be more like this person, and
Well,
I love that about you, because that's what you
thank
do.
you.
You inspire me.
Thank you for the kind words, Janet. And
Well, you're very
I will
welcome.
definitely be transparent and say it takes a lot of work sometimes,
It
right?
does.
I mean, when we're in this work too, you still got to take breaks. You still have your bad days. You still have we're all human.
Hmm.
But I mean, if this is your passion like it is mine, definitely contact us because it is. I'll die on this hill forever.
Me too.
Yep.
But the thing is, you're a wonderful person, and everyone I've shared all Brandy's information, her website for the foundation, her X account, and her email. So if you have any questions or anything you want, share this link to others so that other people can maybe sign up for something that's going on in their area, or to just get a hold of her and get as much information as they can, or even join us in some of these spaces. I try to go as many as I can because my schedule is really messed up, but they're wonderful. You guys would really enjoy it. I know you would.
And
But
they'll
thank you
learn
so
a
much
lot.
for joining me tonight.
Absolutely. Thank
Right.
you very much. I've
And
enjoyed it.
everybody, you guys have a wonderful evening. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night on the Friday Night Shit Show when we talk about all politics and stuff that's going on with our life-changing president right now. So I just want to say thank you again, and everyone have a wonderful evening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.